Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We'll just wait till you all come in. If you want to say hi where you are in the world, it'd be lovely to hear in the chat. I'm always quite interested in weather as well. We were doing this on our last webinar, just, because it's nice and sunny in London. You're in London as well, aren't you, Nicole?
I'm in Kent and it's
Oh, you're
very
in
sunny
Kent.
here. Yes.
Very sunny. So it's sunny in Enfield. Hi, Zena. Yeah, just let us know how you're doing, where you are, and we'll just wait till everybody gets in and then we will kick off. Fantastic. Lancashire. Yeah, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Sunny in Warwickshire. It seems to be sunny across the UK today. We had someone from Italy in the last webinar, and I was like, well, you win, clearly, because you're in Italy. Um, oh, it's cloudy. Oh dear. Okay. Pouring it down in Cornwall. Oh, okay. That's a shame. That's a shame. But come in, come in, come in. It's absolutely. Oh, Walthamstow. I'm in Walthamstow. Hiya. It's so lovely to have you with us for the first in our series of our growth series with Lloyds Bank Academy. So if you could just skip your next slide, Nicole, that would be amazing. We have the lovely Gail from Lloyds Bank Academy with us today. So if you have any questions as we're going through about Lloyds, pop them in the chat and she will be here to answer you as well. Now, Lloyds Bank Academy is a free online learning platform providing resources to help people and businesses increase their financial resilience, digital skills, and employability. And this platform has specific business tools and topics, and it's free for anyone to help and support their business journey. So find out more by scanning, if you can see the QR code there, or going directly to the Lloyds Bank Academy website, which I'll pop in the chat. So it's wonderful to be doing this with Lloyds. As I said, it's one of three that we're starting with, all about growth for your business. We have marketing for growth, which is next week on the 4th, and then we have digital for growth on the 11th. And it would be wonderful if we could see you for all three. That would be amazing. So we've got the lovely Nicole Bremner with us today, who is going to be your host for this session. And she will be talking to you all about finance for growth, which, let's say, as small business owners, we're all interested in, aren't we? Let's be fair. Now, as we're going through, if you have any questions, any comments, if some things, sparked your interest, if you want to pop a question in the Q&A box, we will get to it at the end. If there's anything that we missed, because we maybe run out of time, we will get to it afterwards. There will be a recording going out to all people that have signed up for this webinar as well. So don't worry if you miss anything. You don't have to be making frantic notes if you don't want to. We will send it all out for you. So as I said, Gail is with us from Lloyds. Hi, Gail. I will hand over to Nicole. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care.
Thank you very much, Karen. Really appreciate it. It's great to be here. So, yeah, we've got a big agenda to get through today, so I'm going to just power through this quickly. And first of all, I'm going to tell you a bit about me and why I'm here. So I'm Nicole Bremner, and I'm the founder of Your Prosperity Group CIC, or better known as Prosperity. And we're a social enterprise on a mission to make financial advice, high quality financial advice, accessible to everyone, regardless of their financial situation. And our innovative approach has won us some awards, such as the F Entrepreneur I Also 100 with Small Business Britain, and many articles and mentions in trade journals as well. So looking ahead, my vision for the company is to provide this network of financial coaches that deliver personalized financial guidance to people from all walks of life. So why me? Well, I was the youngest chartered financial planner in Australia before moving to London in 2000. And then my qualifications weren't recognized here, so I moved into investment management, first in equities or publicly traded stocks, then into real estate, and finally into startup investing. And it was summer last year that I really became aware of this growing gap in the market for quality financial advice. And I looked around for people who could serve this area, really, because due to increased regulation, it's just become really difficult for traditional financial advisors to provide the service to the lower end of the market. And we're talking about people with 20,000 in savings who might earn £100,000 a year or less. It's very difficult for financial advisors to serve those clients. I could not find a solution. So I decided that the solution was going to have to be mine. And I set up a social enterprise to tackle this problem myself. So by the end of this webinar, I would like you to take away 3 key points. First of all, why it is so important that you set financial goals. We'll go into the science of it as well. What goals you should set in order to set your business and yourself up for success. And finally, how you should implement and measure the process and the outcome. Now, first of all, if you could do something for me, I can see the chat here, Karen, actually, while I'm presenting. But can you pop into the chat right now, either what you do or the sectors you're in, because that will help me tailor some of the examples I'm going to give so that they are tailored exactly for you and your business. So let me see, what have we got here? Health and beauty, great. Property, excellent. I know all about that. Photographer, cleaning, bookkeeping, silversmith, jewelry, pet. Oh, there's such a fantastic array of businesses here. Manufacturing, coaching, craft supplies, adaptive underwear, dog training, motorcycle, IT. Okay, there are so many different sectors. I will try to touch on as many of these as possible, and I'll go back through the chat after this and have a look at that as well. So thank you very much for that. So, mind shift. In 2016, I found myself flying high in business. I was head of a real estate or a property company. We owned over 100 different properties across London. We had the value of those properties was about 125 million pounds. I owned that alongside some shareholders. I'd just undertaken the largest crowd fundraise in property ever on record, still to this day, of 6.43 million across 6 projects. Things were going really well for me. Also, I thought. Then we had this trifecta of things that came at me. We had the changes in taxes on landlords. We had the increases in SDLT or stamp duty, and the increase on taxes for foreign buyers and second homes. Finally, we had the Brexit vote. And what happened, if you recall, the property market just collapsed, and especially the super prime market that I found myself in, and I found myself holding properties in that super prime market. Interestingly, some of the property prices in these areas of South Kensington, for example, still have not recovered to their pre-2016 levels. So that was a really incredibly difficult time for me personally and for my company. What happened is I hid from my responsibilities. I couldn't face letters from HMRC. I couldn't face my investors. I couldn't face my accountant either. And everything financial became a stressor. It became a trigger. How many of you experience this or have experienced this in the past? I think it's quite common. And in fact, I know it's very common, and especially now, because unfortunately, at this time, 66% of small businesses are facing significant financial struggles. This statistic's been true for a very long time, and that's 50% of small businesses fail within their first 5 years, and often due to inadequate financial planning. And 23% of businesses cite that lack of cash flow as their biggest hurdle, their primary challenge. However, on the flip side, this is not all doom and gloom. Research indicates that companies with written business plans, i.e., they've put their goals down on paper, grow 30% faster than those without. And engaging in external financial advisors can lead to an average revenue increase of about 11.5% for small to medium-sized businesses. If you need any of these sources, if you'd like them, just find me on social media and I can send those over to you. So, goal setting. In 1968, American psychologist Edwin A. Locke published a paper titled Toward a Theory of Task Motivation and Incentives. And this paper and his research showed this relationship between conscious goals and achievement. And he also found that more challenging goals were more likely to lead to higher performance. Later, Dr. Gary P. Latham, tested these theories and found out that there was this connection between goal setting and performance. And together they published a joint paper, or a book actually, called A Theory of Goal Setting in Performance in 1989. And this really was the first steps into goal setting and performance. It was in 1981 that George T. Doran, a director of corporate planning for the Washington Water Power Company, built on this theory of Locke and Latham and came up with what we know as the SMART framework. I'm sure you've seen this many times, but it stands for specific. You need to make sure your goals are specific to you. So let's say you are a lettings agent, as I know that some of you are, as you put that in the chat, and you put in that you want to increase your clients, increase the number of properties that you're currently managing. That's not very specific. It's hard to measure that. It needs to be specific. You need to say, I would like to add 2 new properties to our portfolio every month for the next 12 months. That is a specific goal. If you're in health and beauty, if you were to say, I want every client to leave my salon feeling satisfied, yeah, that's a good goal. But what about if you had something a little more specific than that, such as, I'd like every client to leave my salon having rebooked their next session? That's specific. The next is measurable. Going back to that example of client satisfaction, for example, let's just say you are a dog trainer. You say, I would like every one of my clients to rebook their next appointment. However, in what time period? When? How? So you need to have this measurable, or you could have revenue goals are an easy one for this. You could say, I would like to increase my revenue every month by 10% for the next 12 months. There you go. It's specific and it's measurable. The next thing is achievable and realistic. Now, to me, they're kind of the same. So I think they were being smart with their SMART acronym, but actually achievable and relevant to me are very similar. It needs to fit with the business goals. And let's just say one of your goals for your coaching business is, I want to be interviewed by Oprah. Okay, that's a fantastic goal, and perhaps that is achievable for you. However, is it really achievable in a set time frame that you can see and you can predict for? Probably not, unless you're Mel Robbins, who just has been interviewed by Oprah. So you need to have those realistic, relevant, achievable, and something that you and your team are able to achieve, or it's going to be really disheartening when you're unable to. And the final thing that I've touched on before is time bound. It's all right to say, I want to earn £1 million in revenue. I want to make £1 million in revenue. Okay, when? What time frame? How are you going to measure this and keep yourself accountable if you don't have a time frame in which to do that? And that becomes more important when we start breaking down these goals and working out how we're going to achieve them. Which takes us through to Zig Ziglar, who is another father of the motivation and goal setting industry. He's got a fantastic story, actually, quite a sad story in part, but also a really fantastic story. If you haven't looked him up, I suggest you do so and see his background. But he synthesized down this science of goal setting into 7 key steps. Identify that goal, and this is where the SMART framework comes in. Ensure that they're smart. So for the landscape designer, what are your goals? Are your goals to increase your social media following so that you potentially attract more goals? Is that SMART? Is it specific, measurable, achievable? Is it time bound? Yes, it is. If you say, I want to increase my followers by 10% every month, there you go. You've identified your goals. The next one is to list the benefits. And this is where we really start feeling these goals and taking on board how they feel to us. What are the benefits? And this is especially important if you're running a team. You need your employees, you need your team to see why it matters to them. Why is it so important that you have these goals and these benefits in place? Next is the obstacles. There are key obstacles that are going to be in the way. So for your estate agent, for example, who wishes to move into lettings to help with the ongoing cash flow in the estate agency business, what are the obstacles? Well, you've never done lettings before. This is a whole new industry. So this is a real clear obstacle. Going down to skills, you may not have the skills to be a lettings agency. You've got to go and do further study and have a qualification in order to be a lettings agent and be regulated. So again, that's the skills. What skills do you need to bring in? And that's one of the obstacles. We've talked about skills. The next is resources. What resources do you need? And this can be the people that you need. It can be, again, the skills, the diploma for the financial advisors out there. You need a diploma to be a financial advisor, to be regulated. It might be that as a florist, you might need to have access to fresh flowers and a van to go and pick up your flowers. It's all of these things that you need to put in place for those. And the next thing is to create that action plan. And this is one of my favorite parts of this, and that is using your reminders and your calendar, and every week just sitting down and looking at your diary and seeing, okay, what actions can I take this day, this week, this month in order to achieve these goals? And for myself, when I was setting my goals over Christmas, I opened up my diary, and it took me hours actually, because I worked on what was going to be my goal for Q1. So for me, it's relaunch my podcast. Okay, how am I going to make that work? And breaking down that action plan into, right, I've got to record all those interviews. I need to find an editor. I can't do this editing myself. I don't have the time, which is an obstacle, and I don't have the skills. I also don't have the resources in-house. I need to go and find that. So for me, I like to block out time in order to achieve this, and that is the action plan. And finally, set a deadline for your achievement. Again, I'd like to relaunch my podcast by the beginning of February. So how am I going to block out time in order to do that? So yeah, so just to clarify, we need to set our goals, break them into really small steps, track our progress, which we're going to get back to in a moment, and then adjust as needed. So talking about these tools and resources, I already mentioned your phone. What you've got here in your hand is actually your very best resource when it comes to tracking and planning your goals and how you're going to reach them. Again, with the way that, if you're with Apple, the way that calendar now has reminders set in, I systemize everything, and I'm able to really clearly block out time in order to reach that. Now, the other thing that I want to talk to you about is Chat GPT and becoming besties with your GPT. So I use Chat GPT. Obviously, there's Claude and Llama and Gemini that people are really loving. It doesn't really matter. But what does matter is becoming besties with your Chat GPT so that it knows you. And there are ways of fast tracking this relationship, which I can answer in the Q&A if you're interested. But the most important thing is get your GPT to know you, converse with it. I've got a friend, she's a coach, and when she walks the dog, she just has a little chat with her. She uses Claude, and she just has a chat with Claude. And Claude is now her functional medicine specialist. her life coach, her social media strategist. She just chats and gets the feedback. And then once she's back from her dog walk, she then implements that within her business. So get to know ChatGPT. And now, this is what I'd like you to do once GPT knows you. I want you to put in this prompt. Knowing all you do about me, how do you predict my life will be in 2025? Enter that prompt. Out came the most incredible set of goals. When I did this for myself, I just thought, wow, that's incredible. It's insightful. It blew me away at how this chat GPT had known me enough from my youth, which is often about decorating my new house that I'm refurbishing, the electrics in the house, but also about other things to do with PR and marketing, etc. So I was really blown away with that. But take it a step forward further. Write this prompt. Be even more delusional. If you could expect even greater things from me, what would they be? And take a look at what comes out. Then this is the powerful part, and this is what relates to goal setting. The next prompt is, what steps can I take over the next 30 days to achieve this? My goodness, I was blown away. It gave me this task list, this step-by-step task list of what I needed to do over the next 30 days in order to achieve this Delulu, as my coach calls it, Delulu goal. And then it gave me the key takeaways in a summary box at the bottom. So it's one of the most powerful tools that you've got in your hand, and it's free. I do pay for the paid version. I can't remember how much that costs now, but you can do all of this with the free version of ChatGPT. The next thing that you can use is tasking software. I personally like Asana. It's free again. Even if you're just working on your own, you can put all your goals in there. You can assign your dates. You can put all the various steps. And if you're interested, I can show you my Asana board. I think it's a thing of beauty. But you can assign the steps, you can assign the time frame, and then you can be reminded on a daily, weekly, monthly basis of where you are. You can see it on a lovely diagram as well. You can see exactly where you are. You can, if you've got team members, you can add them to that. So I really like Asana, Trello, Monday, AirTrack. All of these things work very well together. And again, they're free and on your phone. But there is no point having all of these goals in place, these financial goals, if you don't know your numbers. And that's where accounting software comes in. And that really should be your first point of call. I've got one business where I bank with Lloyds, and I use the Lloyds Business Finance Assistant. And it does everything you need it to do. It links with your bank account. You can create invoices, you can send those invoices, and then it matches the invoices with any transactions that come in. It's really powerful and it's free. And for a lot of businesses, that's all you will need. Again, if you want to pay for a system, obviously there are the Xero and QuickBooks, etc. But a lot of the banks do often offer free accounting software now, and often that is all you need. So the final thing I want to talk about here is the science behind this and this concept of visualizing to actualize. So when we visualize a goal, what it does is it sparks this neural activation. Imagining an action, it stimulates similar brain regions as performing the action physically. And this mental rehearsal strengthens neural pathways, improving the ability to execute the task in reality. It enhances motivation, by providing you with a clear and compelling image of the desired outcome, making the goal more tangible and more attainable. And finally, I thought this was an interesting one, stress reduction. It reduces the anxiety associated with the goal pursuit by familiarizing yourself with the process and the outcomes, leading to increased confidence. Because what happens is when you try and stray outside your comfort zone, your subconscious aims to keep you safe. That's what it's there for. And that's when this self-sabotage and self-doubt and imposter syndrome comes in, because your subconscious is trying to keep you safe. It's saying, as the coach whose goal is to have more paid speaking gigs, it's saying, you don't want to do that. That's dangerous. What if that's opening you up for ridicule? Why would you want to do that? Or for the person who is, I think, the restaurant owner who wants to publish a book this year, it's saying to them, why would you want to why would you want to book? Look at Jamie Oliver and look at all these other chefs out there. They've got amazing books out there. Why your book? And this is where this visualizing will help shift that comfort zone and allow you to feel safe within a larger parameter, if that makes sense. So the actual applications in goal achievement and this visualization, they're often used in sports and personal development, and also in rehabilitation. Patients recovering from injuries can benefit from visualization techniques to improve their motor function and accelerate recovery. I just want to tell you a personal story about sports performance. One of my boys is a race driver, and in December 2023, he had the World Championships in Bahrain, and it was an incredibly important race for his career. Yeah, he's only 15. And before that race, we got him a sports psychologist, and that psychologist had him visualizing winning. So my son had created this really clear image, this video of himself crossing the line and his celebration, how he was going to celebrate that. And I did the visualization exercise too. And I had this really clear vision in my head of exactly what it was going to look when he crossed this line, how his arms were going to be in celebration. And what is fascinating about this is he won. And how he won and the vision of what I saw was exactly the same as the vision I had in my head. Now, you might say that's woo-woo, but this happened. And this is the power of visualization. And it's not always going to work, of course, but what it does is it sets you up. It allows you to feel comfortable and aware of this goal. So, yeah, I would encourage you to really not just get an image in your mind of your goals, but how will it make you feel? When you achieve this goal, what will you be feeling? How will you show up, not just for yourself, but how will you show up online? How will you show up for your family, your friends, your clients, more importantly? How will you show up? And once you start feeling that, again, that will help with this whole visualization and uh, actualization. So, finally, what are we going to do when things go wrong? Now, things are really rough right now. We've got this cloud of uncertainty hanging over us. And I know here in Britain, there's just this unknown, isn't there? We've had the new Labour government come in. The budget was scary for many businesses. There's just a lot of uncertainty in the markets as well. Clients are putting things on hold. And there is a reason why 66% of businesses are struggling. But there is support out there. Support like this webinar and Small Business Britain. And I encourage you to take that support. Set your goals and spend some time visualizing them, and just put one foot after the other towards that plan. Now, to go back to my story that I shared at the beginning of when my life crumbled, and it wasn't just professionally, it was personally too. When everything crumbled, it was very difficult to put goals in place. So when I finally when I was finally strong enough to make the first step, All I did was set the goal to get out of bed. And that was my first goal. Once I reached that, it was get out of bed and make my bed. And then the next goal might be get out of bed, make my bed, take my dogs for a walk. But really, it was just putting one foot after the other towards those goals. So, in summary, just do set your goals. It is important. The science does back up the importance of goal setting in your business for your financials. And remember that a goal without a plan is just a wish. So thank you very much. I've rattled through so many things there. Hopefully you've taken on board those 3 takeaways, why it's so important to set your financial goals, what goals you should set, and how you measure those outcomes.
Thank you. Amazing, Nicole. Thank you for being so personal and so open. There's some loads of chat going on about manifestation, about ChatGPT. Everybody's a bit scared of AI, but everyone knows they need to embrace it. More on that soon. Small Business Britain will be doing a lot on AI, so there'll be lots of free resources to talk you all through it. And we've got some questions, if that's okay. You've also got Ashley who wants to come on your podcast. So you've got your first.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Ashley.
Amazing. So, Kerry, I hope I pronounced that right. It said, how do I fast track then ChatGPT?
Yes, glad you asked. So, what you do is you set up a board, give it a name, whatever it might be, and then you upload documents. So, for me, I uploaded transcripts from my podcast. I uploaded a transcript of my book. What else? Any social media that you've published that did really well, that you want that. Any newsletters you've written. They're the first things. Just upload all these things, and that will fast track it to get to know you and to get to know your tone, and then talk to it. Again, just whenever you've got a query or something that you're pondering, just go and chat with it, and it will soon get to know you. It has these memories that it sets. So that's how you fast track that.
Amazing. And do you pay for it or do you use the free version?
I pay for it now,
Mm.
but you can use the free version, and it's just as powerful.
Yeah, fantastic. So another question, everybody's on this. How much information about you? So you've just said like how personal do you go? So, I used it to build my website for my CV covering letters for client proposals. Is this enough info to use the prompts you mentioned, or do we need to actually give them more info about our daily life?
It depends what your goal is with this. So if you're wanting it to help you on a more personal level, then give it personal information. Uh, there are concerns about the security of that, but if you read it, apparently it's safe. I don't know, but
Yeah.
only give it what you want it to know. The other thing that's interesting is you can't say search the web for me because it only has what was available at a set period of time. It doesn't look at recent things on the web. It's only harvested up to, I can't remember now, it might be March last year or something. So it's not up to date with things. So you need to upload that and put that information out there. But again, it depends what you want to use it for. I think just start using it. And if you've already used it for your website and your CV and things like that, then it will already have a pretty good feeling, or it will know you. Just remember to be nice to it because you never know.
They'll remember. They'll remember. A quick
Exactly.
one about Asana as well. Could you
Yes.
sort of talk a little bit about that? Because some people won't have heard of this, just what it is and how it can help us as small business owners.
Yeah, I was thinking, let me see if I can show you on my screen. It'd be nice if I could show you on the big screen, but I really don't want to lose that. So let's have a look here. So, okay, my podcast relaunch. Let me just have a look. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see this here on the screen. So I've got all my boards here that my team are then assigned to all these various uh, tasks. I've got all my brand assets are there. Yeah, so with my intro, I can put who this is assigned to, the date that they're supposed to deliver that, and then when it's completed, I can tick that, but then I can just move that over to my various columns depending on where it's where it is within that task process. So for me, I find it really yeah, just very, very powerful and a very good way of keeping on top of that with
Yeah.
my team, and especially tracking that progress.
Of course, it sounds brilliant. And do you, because there's Trello and everything out there as well, isn't there? Do
Yeah,
you, is it pe for people with staff, or it can be a one person band as well can use it, can't they, just to organize their workflows?
absolutely. You can definitely use it just for you. So I've got a personal board on there, and I try and keep track of. I had 7 passports to update last year. So for me, I was keeping track of all my passport things. For the home, for my renovation. I share it with my, at one point I was sharing it with my builder for one of my projects I was working with. So yeah, you can use it for yourself. You don't have to have a team. It just helps to keep you accountable, and it comes up with reminders in a calendar as well, which you can then link to your calendar. So it's very powerful.
Yeah, definitely. And Gail is here as well from Lloyds, and Lloyds have
Yes.
their free learning module as well. So if you want to just sort of get your ducks in a row a little bit, and and have a look at your revenue and your cash flow, have a look at that. Gail put the link in the chat, and it's free. Just get on there and see where you are, because you have to start somewhere, right? Don't you?
Yeah,
Amazing. So, I use ClickUp, which is fab. That's from Natty. There are different formats. I think there's loads out there, isn't there? So,
there are.
and it's
Yeah.
good that people are using that, because obviously it's good to just have everything in one place, because I mean I'm an old school lister. I write lists about lists in pen, and it's like so old school, isn't it? And then I've lost my list. So,
Yeah.
things get converted. Um,
Yeah,
Lloyds
exactly.
Bank Academy also has a free learning module that can help you understand more on AI. Now, this is what we're talking about, isn't it? And how AI
Yeah.
can actually help your business thrive. Now, AI, there's a lot of people in the chat saying, I'm not a bit scared of it. I don't know, but it's not going anywhere. So, as Nicole said, try and get on board with it, try and embrace it. We'll be doing loads on this for Small Business Britain, and Lloyds are doing loads as well. So, just have a look. It's all free to have a look at and get out there. We will be able to receive a copy of today's webinar. Everybody that registered will be getting this recording. So, don't worry if you've missed anything at all. Right, safety. Not sure if it's safe if you're loading information like passports. I'm concerned.
Oh
I
no,
know the
no.
answer.
Just to clarify, I wasn't loading information about passports onto ChatGPT. I was setting reminders for myself in my Asana about passports, and no personal information was going into my Asana. It was just where I was at it was a tasking system. That's it. But no, my passport information is kept very safe and not on ChatGPT.
Don't put your
And I
bank
don't
details.
put no bank details, and I don't put client information through ChatGPT, for example. So there are AI tools specific to the financial coaching, financial advisory industry that I use that have the proper security measures that you need when you are dealing with sensitive client information. It's the same for people who are therapists and things. You have to be very careful with the information you're holding for people. And even GDPR, you need to be careful. So, no, don't put people's personal information through ChatGPT. It's supposed to be safe. I would not want to risk it.
Yeah, just not right now. Natty has said here, I'd love to learn a bit more about the visualization and manifestation. What resources did you use there? Because you said obviously your little boy had a child's what was it? Sorry, we went to see
Sports
somebody
psychologist, yeah.
psychologist to visualize the win, and congratulations, that's incredible. So, what else, if people, obviously not everybody can do that, how can they get
Yeah.
involved with that?
Yeah, there are lots of resources out there on frequency reprinting, visualization, mindset. There are so many books about it. I work with a coach personally, and we do a lot on visualization. I I struggle to meditate. My brain is far too active to meditate, and I'd love to be able to quiet my mind, but I can't. But what I can do is I can visualize. And so my meditation is really trying to sit with the desired outcome. And as I said, I will think about what I'm wearing, where I'm working from, where I'm how I'm feeling, and the time of day it is, and how this all interacts with my family life and my home life, and the various commitments that I have. So I can do that. And that to me is my meditation. But yeah, just to have a look, there are so many resources out there. There are some excellent coaches too, if you want to do some sessions with coaches. And I've found that really useful to go into the more woo-woo, as I call it, side of things, which I'm a logic person. I'm often quite dismissive of it. And then I do something like frequency reprinting or tapping, and I go, oh my goodness, that worked. That's crazy. So
Yeah.
yes, there's something to it.
There definitely is, and we have got loads of people in that world in our community as well. So they're doing fantastic stuff. Tatenda, I hope I pronounced that correctly. He just said, "I've just tried the prompt. It's awesome on ChatGPT." So yeah, it
Excellent.
works, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Incredible.
it does.
Amazing. And
Oh.
said, I use guided meditation, otherwise my brain starts planning work and to-do lists. And I think that's sort of our sort of vibe, isn't it? When you've got a busy brain, definitely. Oh, Daniel Bateman, Wellbeing Academy is great. So we've had some recommendations there. Anita's just said, what's frequency reprinting? Is that what you mentioned earlier?
Right. So I've got a session booked this afternoon with my coach. So I will tell you in more detail this afternoon. But my understanding, and this is just my understanding, is it's about you go into a state of meditation, and then you are able to really clearly visualize where it is that you want to be. And last time I did it, it came up with some really interesting things that I didn't expect it to bring up. The places that I was working, the people I was working with, and the way that the clients. So do you know what? It's one of those things I cannot explain, and I don't know how it works, but it gets deep into the subconscious and it seems to work. So there you go. I've gone quite woo-woo, but yeah, there you go. Olga. Hi, Olga. Olga's my coach. Frequency reprinting is a form of subconscious rewiring. Thank you, Olga.
Thank you, Olga.
So
You did not know
yeah,
that.
there you go.
Amazing. So going back to the topic here, so taking control of your financial future, everything starts with you, right, Nicole, and getting yourself in the best possible position to be able to plan and to be able to have the tools in place to do that, and using people, like the great stuff that Lloyds have got over there, Lloyds Bank Academy have got over there, the stuff that Small Business Britain are doing to really sort of focus and make yourself accountable. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think the basics, the very basics is know your numbers. And often when you're in a really tough time, you don't even want to know. I have so many friends and clients and people who get into a difficult time and they do what I did, and that is avoid HMRC, avoid all those things. They don't want to know about those finances. Okay, you might not be able to face them at that time, but you do need to outsource that to someone. It is your legal responsibility. So again, Gail will be able to help and talk about how Lloyds can help you with their business finance assistant. It really is a great system. As I said, I do use it for one of my businesses, and that will just help you stay on top of that. And that's the foundation for your goal setting with a financial perspective, is knowing your numbers and having a plan in there for that. You can't you can't increase your revenue by 10% every month if you don't know what your revenues are.
Absolutely. So that is a good place to end, people. So homework is get to know your numbers. Go have a look at what Lloyds are doing. Get involved with all the free resources that are there. A huge thank you to you, Nicole, for your amazing presentation. Your honesty and your vulnerability is so appreciated, and it's so relatable because we've all had the up and down days, haven't we? Let's be honest, as small business owners, which is why we do it, because we are special, wonderful people. So thank you everybody for joining us, for all your comments, all your participation. Huge thanks to Gail and the Lloyds Bank Academy for all your support. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to do a series of these, and the next one is all about marketing for growth. So please do join us. That's next week on the 4th at 10 o'clock. And then we'll be doing all about digital for growth, which is on the 11th at 10 o'clock as well. So they are going to be fantastic, just like Nicole. So it'll be great to see you there. Have wonderful days, everybody, and we will see you very soon. Thank you again, Nicole. Take care.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Gail. And thank
Bye.
you, everyone. Bye.